If you're a cyclist struggling with low back pain or sciatica that's keeping you from riding the way that you want or keeping you off the bike altogether, I created this video to show you light at the end of the tunnel. You can ride pain-free and stronger than ever. Imagine getting on your bike with total confidence in your body, riding pain-free, and finally enjoying your rides and performing to your potential without being held back by back pain or nerve pain. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today in this video. So back pain and sciatica don't have to be part of your story on the bike. With the right plan, you can see significant improvements, and if you stick with it, full recovery is achievable, and that's exactly what I help with. The problem is the way people try to fix low back pain, sciatica, and movement restrictions with general treatments that don't work for cyclists. Instead, we need to leverage a science-backed rehab approach tailored toward the demands of cycling and the root cause of your pain, instead of just masking the symptoms. The key here is an individualized plan based on you and your injury, where we focus on mobility at the joints, targeted strength, and very specific biomechanics, things that traditional PTs often overlook. So in this video, I'll show you the exact method I've used with hundreds of cyclists to fix their low back pain and sciatica and return to riding pain-free, all without injections, surgery, or wasting time with therapies that don't work. That's how I'm able to get messages just like this one every single day from the cyclists I work with. Look, it's not your fault if you've been following outdated methods. You've probably been told to activate your glutes, stretch your hamstrings, strengthen your core, and even to ride less. The truth is, these are outdated methods for cyclists. They've been shown to be completely ineffective. So how do these recommendations stay alive in rehab? One reason is that when research is published, it takes a long time for the research to reach universities. Then the universities teach the new research to incoming students. And eventually, those students graduate and start following new advice from that research. That can be a process that takes 15 to 20 years. So that's why you're following outdated advice that has already been shown to be ineffective. You might be thinking, oh, why don't PTs just stay up to date on new research? That way they can follow it sooner and bring it to practice. The second reason explains that. Truth is, most PTs are generalists, meaning they help everyone with every type of injury. They're not specialists. They don't fully understand cycling, and they don't understand how to treat cyclists. So they don't stay up to date with what actually works because they're burnt out trying to treat every single body part. That's why traditional physical therapy fails to fix low back pain and sciatica specifically with cyclists. They prescribe low-level exercises meant for sedentary people, not athletes who need to generate power and tolerate the stresses that cyclists put on their bodies. So they can get regular people back to baseline, but as a cyclist, you're not just a regular person who needs to get by in their daily life. You need to perform at a high level. So if you went to your local PT who has no clue how to help cyclists and you don't get good results, now you know why. So let's dive into the science of what's actually going on and how we can get this fixed. To keep it simple, back pain and other back issues like sciatica, cycling specific, involve poor mobility and mechanics at the hips, the pelvis, and the lumbar spine. So if we take a look at the anatomy, we have three areas that directly affect everything else in the body on the bike. Pedaling stroke requires that the pelvis is in a good position so that the hips can rotate fluidly and there isn't a lot of stress on the low back. If those mechanics are compromised, that stress on the low back increases over time and it starts to cause problems. If you're watching this, you probably know that all too well. So that's how we start to see a vicious cycle of back pain on the bike, and it can start to carry over off the bike as well. Now, let's say the problem actually started off the bike. We still need to investigate the trigger of that problem in the same way, make sure that we have a clear understanding. But as a cyclist, the on-the-bike mechanics are going to apply in the same way. There's no way around it. Riding a bike requires clean hip, pelvis, and spine relationship. Outdated methods can help alleviate some of this pain and mask symptoms, but it's not getting to the root cause of the back problem, and so it's not fixing the issue. Over time, it just gets worse and worse. We need to make a decision at a certain point. Are we going to continue with the methods that didn't work, or do the right thing and get this fixed? So next, I'll jump into why these old, outdated methods do not work, and we'll dive into the science of what that looks like. So we used to think, and some PTs still think, that low back pain and sciatic problems are a muscle issue, meaning that the pain is coming from tight and weak muscles. But based on the research and study of the biomechanics with cyclists, We now know that joint mechanics are far more important. So the old methods that help to increase flexibility and strength, they won't work to get this fixed. So the tightness and weaknesses just come back, and now we keep going back to square one. So if muscle tightnesses and weaknesses are not the problem, then what is? It's the flawed joint mechanics that have developed over time because of imbalances that we've picked up in life. Muscle tightness or weakness are simply symptoms. So now we don't start with targeting symptoms, we start with targeting the cause, which should get you significant improvements in the tightness and weakness. Now, if sciatica is part of the problem, this is especially important. We do not want to stretch the hamstrings aggressively. It just puts more pressure on the sciatic nerve. And if you're strengthening a muscle whose nerve supply is compromised, you're not going to get good results and you're going to create more imbalances. That's why both low back pain and sciatica seem so difficult to treat, because the entire chain must be addressed together. But is it really that difficult? Not necessarily. How do we fix this and how do we reverse this? Let's talk about it. So based on the research and study of cycling mechanics that shows us how to treat back pain and nerve problems correctly, based on my experience working with hundreds of cyclists and thousands of people with back pain, I've developed the RIDE method to effectively treat these problems. R is to assess the root cause. This assessment is designed specifically for cyclists with back pain and sciatica. 27-point assessment that is done off the bike to start to find out exactly what the root cause of your pain is. This is how we identify not only what motions are causing the stress on your back, but I use my background in movement science and anatomy to find the exact causes of your pain. Which joints, which tendons, which ligaments, and which nerves could be involved. An assessment like this wouldn't be complete if we didn't factor in everything. So this assessment takes a look not only at just the spine, but the hips, the pelvis, and even the knees, feet, and upper back to make sure we address any complications that could be contributing to your back pain or sciatica. This is how I was able to help Mike, who was struggling with back pain on almost every ride for years. He went to multiple PTs and doctors who couldn't figure out what the root cause of his pain was, so he had no improvements. We were able to find the exact root cause of his pain, and in just 1 month, he already felt better. And by 3 months, he was feeling no pain on rides that had always caused pain in the past. So that was the R, and now we move on to I, which is individualizing your program. This is all about customizing it to the root cause and tailoring it specifically to you as a cyclist. So now that we know the root cause and potential compensations that are contributing to your injury, we address these issues with a tailored rehab plan. So it's not just generic PT exercises. It's a customized approach with very specific mobility and strength exercises to treat you and your injury specifically. That's why it's important to identify the root cause so we know exactly what to address. So we customize a plan based on techniques and approaches that will get you the best and fastest results for your injury. This is exactly how I helped Deshaun completely eliminate his back pain. He has a history with lifting, so he knew how to get strong, but what he needed was the right combination of mobility and targeted strengthening at the right time to truly free up his back. So we fixed his pelvic and hip restrictions. Now he's able to not only ride pain-free, but he has zero fear that he's gonna have a setback. So now we've got the R and the I. D is specifically designed for your lifestyle. This takes into account your riding, travel, family, other sports, and work, and the effect that all of this has on both your body and mind. It's really important that we update the program along the way. So as you progress and start having results, we not only fix this, but we get better and stronger than ever. Designing that for you and your lifestyle makes that easy to execute. For Kyle, a really busy doctor with a family and big goals on the bike, including a lot of travel to ride and race, this was critical to make sure he was able to do the right work and get maximum results. So finally, we have E, which is education. This is the most important piece of the puzzle. And I'm not just talking about educating you on anatomy and general movement. This is where my knowledge of cycling mechanics and the right rehab methods for cyclists comes together to get you a long-term fix. You'll fully understand the work that we're doing. With traditional PT, you might have a couple appointments a week for 45 minutes to an hour, and that's all you get. By having 7-day-a-week communication to ask questions and get answers, we can guarantee that you'll be doing your exercises with correct form and that you'll have a clear understanding of what you're doing. When you clearly understand your plan, execution starts to become easy. To fix back pain and sciatica for cyclists, it takes consistency and, yeah, some hard work. But that pays off, and I'm here for you every single step of the way to make sure that we're staying consistent, and I'm there to update and optimize your plan to support you and give you the best results. I don't just give you something to follow. I explain the science behind everything we do to get this fixed. And this is exactly how I helped Brendan. He was struggling with back, knee, and foot pain that all boiled down to a sciatic nerve problem. The root cause was poor pelvic mechanics and a lack of hip internal rotation. He started seeing real results in 10 days and asked me, when should I start riding? On our call, we're on a video call. On that call, I looked at him and I said, now. So for the first time since his injury, he felt connected on the bike, which wouldn't have happened if he didn't have a clear root cause, an individualized plan that was designed for his lifestyle as a cyclist, husband, and realtor, plus the education to start to truly understand his body and the problem. So now that you've learned that these back and nerve problems don't have to hold you back, and you've seen how I use the ride method to fix the root cause, you might be thinking, this is too good to be true. But this is the approach that I've used with hundreds of cyclists just like you to get them back to riding pain-free. My approach is 100% fully online, so there's no need for in-person visits. And if you're worried it won't fit in your schedule, we're really looking at 15 to 25 minutes per day. It can be done in the comfort of your own home or at the gym. So if you're serious about getting back to riding without pain and riding to your full potential, what I want to do is invite you to schedule a video call with me where we can talk about your specific situation, what's holding you back, and whether my method is the right fit for you. So click the link below to book your call, and let's get you back to riding pain-free. You owe it to yourself to fix this now. Riding a bike isn't just exercise. The benefits to your life are massive. You don't need me to tell you that. Remember, every day you wait is another day you're not riding at your best, and the longer you wait with back pain and sciatica, the more difficult and complex it is to fix it. So you've got two options: keep on struggling or take action today. The choice is yours, so I'll see you on the call.